Hey guys, it's Allison, and I gotta admit, I liked the songs that I heard from Lorde on the radio, but I never really listened to her music. Now I've listened to Melodrama, her new album, and it's kind of amazing. Melodrama, the album, sonically is super interesting, but we can't really focus on that today. That's kind of another day's issue. Today we're just going to talk about the lyrics because sonically it's super complex, but lyrically it's also really interesting. So we're going to go into the lyrical side. For the sonic side, when you're thinking of Melodrama, it's basically the way that I hear every song is it's music, 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 and then weird sound to make you wait for the beat drop, and then the beat drops and the music continues. So there's a lot of weird sounds, really cool, very forward, new, futuristic musical choices, different sounds, vocal techniques that are super, super modern. We've never really seen them before in music, and I think that's one of the reasons why this album is so intriguing. Not only the lyrics, but the way that the sounds can make the songs so much more interesting and make them they're so catchy. They're just so catchy. So we can start with Green Light, the lead single off the album Melodrama. This is a great song, really fun, but it's about after a breakup, the aftermath, when you want to be able to let go and move on from relationships that's over, but you kind of want to stay, and you want the go-ahead signal to be able to stay in the relationship that is definitely over. So we start with the metaphor green light. So when you're writing, you can use an object like a green light to mean go ahead, or you can pick a different object to mean something else. Really anything would work here. This is simple. The most basic technique in songwriting is to use a symbol like a green light meaning go. Another thing Lorde does in this song is she describes not only what she's doing, she says, sometimes I wake up in a different bedroom, but she also says what's going on inside her head, like sometimes I see you. And then she also describes she's going to get her things but can't let go. So she's saying what's really happening in real life, but also what's happening inside her mind. So an important part of songwriting is to be able to describe what's actually happening and then what you feel about it. And they don't have to completely be separate. You can blend them together any way you want to, like Lorde does in Green Light. The other thing Lorde does is that repetition of I'm waiting for that green light, I want it. That's something you can do to make your song catchy and something an audience can remember when they hear I'm waiting for that green light. They know what song it is, and it's super memorable. So when we look at the lyrics to Sober, this is a song about Lorde and someone that she meets while she's clearly drunk, and she wants to dance with them, have fun, but she's wondering what's going to happen for her sanity, her calmness when they're sober again, and they might regret what they did the night before. She does say, but my hips have missed your hips, so let's get to know the kicks. Will you sway with me, go astray with me? This song is essentially very metaphor-heavy, saying we're the king and queen of the weekend, comparing the rush of being together as the pill, even though they're probably on some sort of substances while this is happening, because she says, what will we do when we're sober? There's also Dream with a Fever, talking about how it seems like they're not really in the situation. A lot of metaphors going on. Lots of talk and descriptions of dancing. Basically, it's very similar lyrically to Green Light in the structure. It's very straightforward, I think, in terms of meaning. But it's still very interesting because of the storyline. The storyline is significant in this song because it's unique in that being intoxicated in some way and also being in love, infatuated, and wondering what's going to happen when you're sober and you don't have that infatuation and instead you have guilt. So it's a very interesting storyline for that one. Homemade Dynamite is the next track on the album, and it's a really cool, interesting one. So let's see what's happening here in the lyrics. So she starts off with the metaphor, a couple rebel Top Gun pilots flying with nowhere to be. So when you're writing your songs, just start with anything that sounds interesting, comes to mind, and kind of makes sense. Like Top Gun pilots, they're obviously not Top Gun pilots, but it's an interesting way to start a song. And generally you want to start a song with something that's not quite as straightforward to hook the audience in and wonder, what is she thinking about? Are they actually Top Gun pilots? Again, this is another song just describing a party scene, but it's a really interesting one. Boom! The Louvre is up next. I really like how this song begins with, well, summer slipped us underneath her tongue. That's an interesting way to set the scene. A way that you can start your song is by setting the scene. Start by saying, summer slipped us under her tongue. And that's, instead of just saying, oh hey, it was summer, you can say it in a more poetic way. Summer slipped us under her tongue, personifying summer, which is a really interesting technique. I overthink your punctuation use. The stuttering is really interesting, lyrical technique. I also like how instead of describing what is happening, she says, half of my wardrobe is on your bedroom floor. Instead of describing what's actually happening, she finds a way to say it in a more poetic way. The next part is the repeated throughout part, the broadcast the boom 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 and make them all dance to it. She's talking about a rush at the beginning, I caught up just for a minute, but lover, you're the one to blame. All that you're doing, can you hear the violence? Microphone to my chest, hear my heartbeat. Broadcast the boom 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 and make them all dance to it. Then the part when she mentions the Louvre, she says, we're the greatest, they'll hang us in the Louvre, saying we're works of art, they're gonna celebrate us for how beautiful our love is. Down the back. So it's kind of important. There's lots of more important arts, relationships, loves that have happened. The Louvre is important, but we're in the back, you know. But it's still the Louvre. We're still art. And then when she's talking about the violence, I'm pretty sure she's talking about her heartbeat being so aggressive because probably how excited the love is, how much of art it is, and how you have to broadcast the boom boom boom. I love Liability. It's a great piano ballad edition. I really personally relate to this one, just the feeling of as if you're at fault for what has happened in your life, for the people that have left you behind, but it's probably not your fault in most cases, and people tend to blame themselves, and that's what she's doing in this song. She's saying when the person left her, said it was poison, said that she was being too enthusiastic, too crazy, wild about life, and she's a liability, she's too much to handle. But then she says that she can still love herself, even though she's a forest fire. This is just a beautiful, very poetic way of saying, you know, I've done some things, I'm who I am, I love myself. People say I'm a little much. People say I'm a liability, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to disappear into the sun. This is a really, really pretty song talking about just how everyone thinks about her, the things that they say. She even goes as far as calling herself a toy that people enjoy till the tricks don't work anymore and they're bored of me. She says, I know that it's exciting running through the night, but every perfect summer's eating me alive until you're gone. That's beautiful, it's saying. I know that love is fun, but it's eating me alive. It's scaring me because I know you're going to be gone. People are going to leave me behind. Maybe I should just stay, love myself, instead of worrying about other people calling me a liability and leaving me behind. But that's okay because in the end, she says, you're going to watch me disappear into the sun. It could be an allusion to Icarus, who flew too high and into the sun, and he got destroyed, or it could be saying, you're going to watch me become a star, you're going to watch me be so successful. So again, very emotional, metaphor-heavy song, but a great one. Hard Feelings and Loveless. This is a trend I've been kind of seeing on albums where it's 2 songs for the price of 1, 2 songs on 1 track. Hard Feelings begins it. It's very similar to the rest of the way the album is set up, except this one is in first person? No, second person, because it's talking to someone. It says, please could you be tender and I will sit close to you. That could be first person. It's directly addressing somebody instead of describing it far off, like baby really hurt me. This is talking directly to someone, and it's talking about how it reminisces on I Remember the Rush, how things probably were at the beginning. The hard feelings of love would be, we don't really know what to do, you know. She doesn't know what to do. It's hard feelings because there's no right answer. Love is crazy. So I think the way she usually starts her songs is probably she comes up with however she feels and tries to put it into words. It sounds like the first thing I can think of for how these feelings sound. So she is experiencing a certain relationship where she doesn't know what to do. She says, oh darn, these are hard feelings, and then that's how you start your lyrics. Oh, these are hard feelings. Next is Loveless, and she spells out L-O-V-E-L-E-S-S, which is really cool. We're a loveless generation. It sounds kind of sarcastic, poking fun at people who say that they're loveless, or it could be serious, but to me, I think it sounds very tongue-in-cheek, kind of, oh, look at us, we're loveless. I think this is a great song. I kind of wish it was a full song. Sober Part 2, or Melodrama, is the title track of the album. It's a continuation of the second song, Sober, and it's sort of like the aftermath, after we danced all night and wondered, are we going to regret this when we're sober? And it seems like they do regret it. And it picks up with, you asked if I was feeling it, I'm sick, oh hi, no you won't remember in the morning when I speak my mind. And it says, oh how fast the evening passes, we're suddenly down, we're suddenly sober again, and we're cleaning it up, and our hearts are broken like champagne glasses, and the melodrama. This is a really cool idea, continuing the song Sober with what would have happened afterwards, where there's terror, there's horror, and a lot of cool analogies going on here. Gunfights, limelights, just a lot of harsh imagery, which is really cool. Gunfights, holy sick divine nights, though it's really sharp and it really gets your attention when you hear it. Matched with the sound going on in the background, the music, the instrumentals, This is probably my favorite song lyrically. It starts with, you're walking out to be a good man for someone else. It's her way of saying, he's a good man, but he's leaving her, and she feels like she couldn't have been good enough for him, which is really sad and something we hear kind of reflected in Liability. And she says, bet through the day you kissed a writer in the dark. I keep talking over her at the same moments, and I don't mean to. Anyways, she says, bet you regret ever kissing me, ever loving me, because she's holding on still. Again, we see this theme of being broken up with and still holding on, reflected in a lot of the songs, like Green Light especially. She's gonna play and sing, she's gonna write a song about you and lock you in her heart. She loves you till her breathing stops, so she's going to continue thinking about you and wanting to get back together with you. And if you call the cops on her, guess she doesn't really care. Bet you regret loving me. I quite like when she says, I ride the subway, read the signs, I let the seasons change my mind. I love it here since I've stopped needing you. it's seeing her move on. Will you say I've changed? Because now I let the seasons change my mind. But in our darkest hours, I stumbled on a secret power to find a way to be without you, babe. I think that's reflecting on her writing her art in our darkest hours when she was hurting the most. I stumbled on a secret power, her talent for writing songs, writing lyrics, and I'll find a way to be without you, babe. So, writing a song, writing a bunch of songs, writing the great album Melodrama is a way to be without him. Supercut is next. This is another more upbeat, fun one, kind of. I mean, Lorde, she's 20 years old. I think it's perfect. Write about what you know, write about what you experience, and also put yourself into maybe the way you wish your life was, or the way people think your life is, or the way you are experiencing pain, and she's doing this all in this album. When I first heard it, I was picturing a photograph and cutting out these two people, and the supercut is like the really good cut, but I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what any of this song means. In my head, I do everything right. When you call, I'll forgive and not fight. Basically, you know what? In my head, everything's fun. The supercut, everything's the perfect version of everything. All the moments I play in the dark, I guess that's when she's talking about in her head, the way things look in her head. Wild and fluorescent, come home to my heart. Because in my head, I do everything right, everything's super cut. She's a little upset that she can't do everything right in real life, because in real life things aren't a super cut, they're just a regular cut. This is a great continuation, because it's when she finally begins to understand she should love herself. She shouldn't dwell on the fact that some people find she's a liability, some people think she's too much, but she should continue to be as much as she is. She should continue to be a happy, fun person, whoever she wants to be, maybe a heavy, sad person, whoever she wants to be. She can be herself, and it's not her fault. It's not because she's a liability, it's because others can't handle her. And she says, but you're not what you thought you were. I think she's talking to herself there. She's telling herself, she's calming herself down, saying, you know what, you're not a liability, you're just being yourself, you don't have to worry about it, it's not your fault. So I think the but you're not what you thought you were is the main point the song is trying to say. It's reflecting on how she felt at that time when she wrote Liability, and she's becoming happier. She's realizing she's not at fault, it's somebody else's problem. Perfect Places is the last track on the album, and it's a really cool reflection of what teenage life is like for Miss Lorde, Miss Ella. So she's talking about, she's just describing partying, you know, spill your guts, you know, throw up everything you just drank. And she says, I'm 19 and I'm on fire, but we're dancing, I'm alright, another graceless night. It's just saying, hey, you're young, might as well just have fun. So with everything she takes into her body, all these drinks and things, sends her to perfect places, sends her to a land where she can have fun and do whatever she wants, be whoever she wants to be in these perfect places, but perfect places don't really exist, do they? And she realizes that at the end when she asks, hey, what are perfect places even? But she's chasing this perfect place. She's taking alcohols. We're young, we're having fun, we're going to perfect places, but you know what? What are perfect places, by the way? Do they even exist? Or are they just in our heads because we're drinking alcohols? I like when she says, I'll blow my brains out to the radio, like playing it just so loud, and probably singing along too. All our heroes fading, I like that. Nobody's as high up as we are. We're in these perfect places. We're so far above where we ever thought we could be. Instead of lying down and sleeping, we're bouncing around, having fun, trying to find these perfect places that only exist in our minds, apparently. I think Perfect Places is a really good reflective song because it ties in the elements of partying and having fun, and it also goes to reflect, and it says, hey, are we really what we thought we were? But also, you know what, who cares anyways? And I think that's very much Lorde's personality and a great way to close off Melodrama. So the more you analyze lyrics, the more you know the techniques to use in your own personal writing. So if you maybe, instead of just listening to a song on the radio, not really paying attention to lyrics, just jamming out, or you could read the lyrics, pull it up, search song title and then lyrics, and then read through them. Think to yourself, what are they trying to say? And now when you're writing your own songs, you can say, okay, what am I trying to say? What is a more interesting way I could say that? What is a more metaphorical way I could say that? How can I use more imagery to say that? She uses a lot of really cool sound pieces, which you might want to think about using in your writing. Also, when she uses her music to complement the mood that she's singing about. She uses a whole variety of moods. She doesn't just write party songs, she doesn't just write I'm sad and got broken up with either. She writes a whole big variety of music, and I think that's something all songwriters can emulate. I think this is a great album to look up to if you are a songwriter. So continue analyzing songs and maybe use some of those techniques in your own writing. See you guys!